Before writing the letter, I had 1,000 things that I wanted to write about. But I decided to write the love letter to myself because in order for me to give to the world, I first have to love who I am as a person, the man that I am becoming. I had a lot of emotional moments because, don't nobody write a love letter to themselves. So it was very emotional to me because I really sat down and told myself that I love me, I love myself. And it really opened the door for me to become a greater version of myself. And one of the feelings that I felt was a feeling of gratitude because coming from where I come from, a lot of people don't make it out. And growing up, writing was like one of the weakest subjects that I ever been in. And it wasn't until I went to Chapman University that I fell in love with the craft of writing. Being vulnerable to me, what it looked like is stripping away everything and unpacking the things that you need to unpack so that you can be a better version of yourself. Vulnerable is a hard word for me because growing up I never was a vulnerable person and I never had the space to be vulnerable because, as a black kid you don't have that space to be as vulnerable as you want to be. You have to be the man of the house or you have to be tough. In the black community, I think that vulnerability is a hard word to use. Not saying that black men aren't vulnerable, but we deal with it a different way. And the way I deal with it is behind closed doors. So when I'm praying or if I'm talking to God, I strip everything away and unpack everything to Him and release everything to Him before going back out into the real world because it's hard for me to be vulnerable outside of my room doors. 90% of black men are like that. Period. Because everybody expects us to be this tough, almighty person, but deep down inside we want to be this vulnerable person. But if we do it, we are labeled as something else. So we decide to always hide it and do it behind closed doors. So if it's the Ray J effect, crying in the shower, we'll do that. But if it's getting on your knees and praying to God and crying, then we'll do that. But I think that all black men is vulnerable, but it's just behind closed doors. So what I got out of writing this letter was that I can always circle back when I'm feeling depressed or I'm feeling down I can always come to this spot and just write this letter to myself and just tell myself that I love myself and that it kind of give me the push that I can get or what I need to get over the mountaintops.
Mama always told me, pay attention.